Today we're going to talk about, let me get comfy. We're going to talk about plantain, specifically narrow leaf plantain. I'm in southeast Virginia and the little seed thingies are just starting to bloom. Some of the names you might be familiar with are ribwort, narrowleaf plantain, lamb's tongue, or when I was a child we called them poppers because you get these little seed things and you pop them. It was almost like a rite of passage. Well, that one didn't pop. The older kids could pop them and us younger kids couldn't, and it was just like, oh, so frustrating until we could figure it out. It's very great. I'm going to zoom in a minute. I just wanted to give a little knowledge. I'm teaching my child the wild edibles that grow in the yard, that grow in the area. We go out in the woods, but lately we've been doing stuff that's basically right in our own yard or right in town. I live in a small town. And this is growing behind my shed. I'm right on, there's a field behind my home. This is the area that has been disturbed and compacted. That's where plantains like to grow. Narrow leaf, broadleaf. There's about three types that grow in America. Narrowleaf and broadleaf come from Europe, Eurasia, but there's also a native plant that I'll discuss in another video that's from the United States naturally that weren't brought here by Europeans. I made a few notes because I always lose track. It's called plantain. It's a part of the plantain. Its common name is plantain. It's part of the Plantago species, and I'll have the actual scientific name down in the comments because I always forget them. It is not related to the plantain that's like a banana, comes from Africa, whose leaves are used in black African soap. Not related, completely different species. Now these would be nice in a soap. I'm not going to use them in a soap. I'm going to use them other ways, but let's see. Some things you can do with them. You can eat the seeds, like these little flower heads. You can eat them, throw them in your salad. If you're out in nature, pop them in your mouth. Birds love them. Matter of fact, I might throw them out to my chickens just to see if they'll chomp them up, but they're actually sometimes in bird seeds. It's fibrous. A matter of fact, one of the cousins to the plantain, psyllium, I'm not sure how you say that. You'll see it in the pharmacy for fiber and fiber stuff. I don't recommend, I'm not telling you that this will help you with any dietary fiber needs, but its cousin is used for that. It's grown commercially for that purpose. Use the seeds in a bread if you're making bread, you know, and you want to get a little more roughage, I guess, than your bread. Juice the leaves if you want. Juicing's a big thing now, so you can throw them leaves in the juicer along with your other greens. I recommend using the plantain leaves like you would kale or something like that, like a tougher green. They're kind of tough. The baby leaves are tender, but the bigger leaves, the more mature leaves, are tough, and they have these strings in them. So I simmer them and eat them that way. There's so many medicinal uses for them, but the one that I'm teaching my children, because it's summertime, we run around barefoot, you get stung by a bee, take the leaf, chew it up. You don't even have to put it all the way in your mouth, just chomp it up with your teeth and apply it to the bee sting, wherever it may be. You're going to get almost immediate relief, much faster and more effective than other herbs, in my opinion. This is the narrow leaf, but the other plantains you can use for that purpose also. And now I'm going to zoom in and show you how to identify. So please forgive me. Alright, so here we go. Now these, like I said, are behind my shed and we weed eat back here, so they're little and they're scraggly, but you have these long shoots. Let me see if you can see. right? And these are the seeds, and like I said, we called them poppers as kids, but and I tell my kids the same thing because it's something they're going to remember, you know. The leaves are narrow, very narrow leaves, but they can be very long, but they're going to be narrow, and the number one identifying mark is these vertical veins or ribs. They go all the way up, never sideways, never diagonally. All plantains have this parallel or vertical ribs that go all the way up. It's a little fuzzy on the end, and there's these fibers, like I said, very tough fibers. So I cook them, I simmer them a little bit like you would other tough greens. The little baby ones are very tender, and you could use these like you would any salad greens. Throw these little babies in the salad green if you want. Now these are edible. There's no known toxic side effects, so it's not like you can overdo it. I mean, of course, if you eat too much of anything, it's going to upset your stomach, so be careful, especially if you're not used to eating greens or wild greens. They're full of vitamins. Most weeds or plants that are considered weeds are, because think about how tough they must be to continuously come back through harsh climates. So to me, it's just the plant has a tough spirit, so it's going to be beneficial for you. Let's see what else. The leaves are edible. The little flower pods are edible. Throw them in a salad or whatnot, eat them just as. And the seeds are also, this one hasn't seeded. Let's see, here's one. So this one's bloomed. And you see some of the seeds in the bottom. You can use those. Is it already seeded? Little bugs. And again, there's so many ways to use these. You can make a tea with it. I recommend drying the leaves if you're going to make a tea. You can use it in infusions, which is basically a tea, but making it a little bit more stronger. You can juice it, like I said, and the number one way is a poultice. So if you're out in the wild, usually on a path, plantain is probably going to grow along the path. It likes to grow along disturbed, compact areas. Pretty much wherever you walk, the plantain follows. So you just chew it up. You don't have to chew it up. You can mash it, or use it in like a mortar and pestle. If you're out, a rock, just whatever you do, get those juices. Break it up and apply it to the wound. I don't have any. Usually my hands are cut up. Apply it there for a bite, a sting, and that includes not just insects but plants. If you're into briars, this should help with it. I haven't used it against any nettles, they sting or irritate. I have not used it against that, but I have heard that it helps with those too. Ultimately, they're just a great overall plant. I highly recommend you do your own research. Do not take any information that you have heard from me without backing it up with your own research. I'll try to supply a link from a reputable source. There's actually one I like that gives you pictures and way more information. This is just some knowledge. I like to teach the children this, and I'm sharing it so you can go out and you're walking around town, or you're at the park, or maybe you like to go hiking or whatnot. Now you have something you can identify, something very easy to identify. I notice when there's something fun to do, like the poppers, kids tend to stick. It sticks with them a little bit more. And this is such an overall, it's an edible, it's medicinal, it's a great plant to learn about, especially for a child as a foundation. Let me make sure. Let's see. You can use the seeds, you can juice them, dry the leaves for a tea. You could use fresh leaves, but dry is much better. Poultice of whatever type. Use it for salves, like make an oil infusion and use it in a salve. Very nice. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this and found it educational, or at least, informative, and you share it with your little ones. Normally my little one's out here behind me somewhere. I don't like him to be on the video, so he's not. Anyways, thank you. Y'all have a nice day.